So I want to tell you a quick story today about how I have been trying to improve how I spend my time and be more productive, which is the ultimate self-help personal development journey, I guess you could say. And I've made a video about this before, which is why I wanted to make another video specifically about time. And over the past few weeks, more successfully, I've really put into practice a daily routine to an extent where I've been massively more productive than I've been probably in the past year, nearly 2 years, probably at least the last 18 months or so. And it's been something that's been on my mind for nearly 2 years straight now. And that's what this entire thing is about. So yeah, I've talked a load about kind of what my past year or two have been. I've been working in the marketing space. I've been helping clients of all shapes and sizes with, content creation and just generally just trying to help them get more, clients through social media, get more customers, get more engagement. And I've been working with a variety of people, worked with some influencers, worked with small business owners, and it's been fantastic. But at the end of last year, I decided to start a brand new agency. And I was very complacent for a long time, but finally, in the past month or so, I have really kind of found my footing. And I thought I found my footing before, but having looked at the past few weeks, I realized I've properly found it. And I just want to kind of go over kind of what I'm now doing and putting into practice that I was thinking about for ages, actually, and now I'm finally doing it. I just kind of want to go over how and why I'm doing this and the outcomes of it, basically. So before I get into that, I talked previously about how I think for anybody, time, we never have enough of it ever. Even if we have all the time in the world, we never feel like we have enough. And for the wealthiest people in the world who literally have every minute of their day planned out, they literally on paper don't have enough time in their day. So we all say that time is a limited resource for us. And yet a lot of us seem busier than others. Some people seem much freer than other people. But either way, I know that for me, I have been, and still are, a massive procrastinator. And I'm working on it to this day. And I've been trying to figure it out. And also I've got reasons to figure out as well. Trying to figure out all these different things, limiting beliefs, why I lack focus on different things, and overall just try to get to the root cause whilst also using the reasons for why I want to solve it all to just work on my business and get started. So over the past few weeks, I moved. That's the reason for, like you can see a different background to like a month or two ago. Although it's almost identical, the same color type of wall, but other than that, I moved. And so your environment shifts your kind of daily feeling, daily perspective on life as well. But I was still quite kind of, complacent as I moved house. So now I've been really focusing on, well, what is my goal now? Because as far as I'm concerned, I have a deadline with where I'm living right now. And that's really been helping me with this kind of, kind of urgency feeling. Because although I don't have actual urgency, there's no specific deadlines, I don't have to be out of here by a certain date, I have kind of this self-made urgency I've created because of the situation. And I guess that's kind of maybe the first thing to have to create. Maybe there's a few areas that might be part of what you need to do in order to start creating, that need to start something. And one of them may be urgency. Certainly for me, has been this kind of self-made one. I don't, like I said, necessarily have an end date, but I have this just physical situation in my environment now where I am saying on a daily basis to myself, and I'm aware on a daily basis that I know when I want to be changing environment again. I know when I want to be moving on again. I know what my processes are. And I kind of like this fluidity at the moment over what my life is like. And yes, I'm not moving every week or two, but I like the reality of my situation right now. So maybe for you, if making that sense of urgency is something that could work, then there's a potential thing there. But more so over the past few weeks, just kind of settling into my process, day by day. For one, has been cold calling finally I'm not kicking the can further down the road every week with trying to figure out, working with different cold callers, working with people, looking at different appointment setters and closers. I've cold called before, and I even made a tweet about this. I've cold called about 1,000 people in my life now. That's barely a couple of months' work, really, for a full-time salesperson, but never really done sales before. My life is filmmaking and marketing, and so for me, cold calling is just something I kind of did out of necessity before. Called a couple hundred people before, didn't really go anywhere. I just kind of felt like I needed to do it. It's not actually how I got my first ever clients, but I felt like I needed to do it just to try. And now I feel like it's, out of all the content I've been watching again through procrastination as well, it's just that one thing that, all the stuff I've seen, every single entrepreneur that talks about it, every single person that says about starting a business, you have to be the salesperson for your business. You have to sell what you do. You can't, like at the beginning, I've just realized that you cannot get other people to sell your thing for you at the beginning. Obviously, once you get established, once you've laid the foundations and once you've got something running, once there is a machine operating, then you obviously have sales teams and departments, people that sell for the business. But when the business is really just you at the beginning, yes, it might be a physical entity that is a registered business, but when it is really just you have to do the legwork to get it started. And that's been the biggest lesson for me anyway, the past few weeks. Well, I kind of knew that already, but really putting into practice has made me really click in my head. And now having done, doing about 200, 250 cold calls a week, at least, it's kind of really cemented in my head that realization. So that's been going really well. But obviously that's not hours every day. It's kind of 2 to 4 hours a day on average, depending on how many people I need to call back. If I book many appointments, it depends. But that's, 2 to 4 hours of my day. So I've still got 12 to 16 hours of a day that, I'm still thinking about the business, thinking about processes, thinking about making progress. So naturally, I still procrastinate a lot because I've got so much free time. If I'm waking up at 7, 8 or 9, I'm cold calling between 10 and 12, and then 2 and 4. I'm calling back people, having 1 or 2 appointments every other day. There's still hours every day. So naturally, I'm still spending time on YouTube. I'm still trying to just figure out other things. I still procrastinate. I still watch a video from Iman Gadzhi or Luke Belmore or Alex Ramosi. I'm still trying to learn new stuff that is, let's be honest, it's still procrastinating. But I am trying to be more specific with what I'm watching now, and I make at least half of it I force myself to write a note for, or I force myself to, at least, if I'm going to watch something for educational purposes or watch something just for the dopamine hit of watching it, I'm at least going to try and take something away. Even if I feel like I'm already aware of that thing, I'm going to try and take something away from it. So I guess that's another thing as well, is to always kind of have a reason for why you're watching something, not just for another dopamine hit. So besides that, it still leaves you with hours every day. And I'd say the biggest thing for me that I've mentioned before is the fact that I'll even try to pick it up. I have literally 3 tasks every day that I'm doing, and you can literally, here's proof. That is week 5. That's my proof. Ignore my scribbles, but this is my proof of 3 tasks a day that I'm just focusing on. Just every day, it's not much. It's not like I have 25 to-do lists every day. I literally have 3 things that, the way I write down my goals every day, my 3 tasks of the day, some days are bigger than others, but most days I follow this simple rule of, I have this kind of graph in my head of what I've seen online, a graph I saw online about tasks that are flow tasks, or very simple tasks that simple, not in terms of easy simple, but simple in terms of it's a task that challenges your ability just enough so that you want to do it. So that instead of realizing you have to design a whole new website, one of my tasks was register for my website hoster and create and pick the first template. Literally a 5 to 10 minute task. Obviously, once I start that, I then do the thing for 45 minutes to an hour or so and get lost in the whole mess of it. But I know that writing down the initial first step, for me, it seems like a very small task. But once I initiate that and do that thing, I know I'm going to do it for another half an hour or an hour. And even if I don't, I know I've done that first bit. And most 99% of the time, I do that first bit, and then for another half an hour to an hour, I actually continue with the rest of it. That would have been an overwhelming task to begin with on my to-do list. So after those few hours of cold calling, and after, a bit of procrastination, watching some stuff, watching some videos, whatever it might be, maybe posting something on one of my, compound theme page channel, posting something on TikTok, whatever it might be, that still try to be productive without scrolling endlessly on social media. I have that, have those 2 or 3 tasks besides the cold calling to actually work on other elements of the business. For instance, just thinking of a new website hoster, fixing my domains that my easy360.com domain is working. And, fixing my email campaign. So my email campaign is working as well on autopilot every day, and, fixing the problems with that, because even though I've started it, there's still problems with it. So every day it's kind of looking at what's next. And this is why I really I live by my 3 tasks a day, because, I don't discourage myself if it's tiny and I only do that tiny bit I've written down, but I stick to it at least. And I know that even if I make 3 tiny achievements today, or goals I've achieved, that's, that compounds throughout the week, however many 3s in the week, adds up. I'm trying to math off the top of my head really quickly anyway, but it's, I know it's multiple tasks every week that I was not planning on doing anyway. Yes, I might have done a few of them in the week, but if I was just procrastinating my days away, I would not have done them otherwise. So overall, looking back on this, over the past few weeks, having spent 2 to 4 hours a day cold calling, working on my, trying to fix my email every day, checking up on it if it's not broken, making sure that's working, getting the replies and responding to the replies, trying to get appointments booked through them as well. That's 4 to 6 hours a day, maybe 4 to 5 hours a day on the average day, for 4 to 6 hours a day. This is cold calls and emails as well. So 1 to 2 hours a day of emails and replies or fixing it. Then it's other ideas as well, little ideas. And again, this is mixed in with procrastinating as well, because it's just, even though they're small tasks, I'm still not perfect at this. I just make sure that in the day I have completed these 3 tasks, whether it's 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. But overall, over the past few weeks, I feel like I've made the most progress. And if out of all this rambling, you can take any of this stuff away, and I've mentioned this in previous videos as well. Like I said at the beginning, part of it is urgency. And I feel like just my environmental shift and change over the past month or so has really helped with that. And the fact that in 6 weeks since I moved, I've felt this change. And granted, the first couple of weeks were complacent, just purely because I'm trying to find my grounding, what I'm actually going to be doing and working on. But I realized kind of deadline I set for myself of this progress and this change and this temporary situation I'm in, that, okay, I have this self-created urgency and I know what I'm doing now, because this is not permanent. This isn't months. I know what I'm doing next. So urgency is a big part of it, or creating a sense of you need progress. Then I think it all comes back to the, making small but achievable, the SMART goals they're called, SMART goals every day, small but achievable goals every day that challenge your ability to achieve them. They're not overwhelming, but they're simple, small, and achievable. And don't be discouraged by how small you have to make them either. Just if you procrastinate a lot and you lack focus, make it as small but achievable as possible, because it's the only way I've been doing it. And I think the biggest takeaway that just came to my mind now is, I'm no self-help guru, I'm no productivity expert, I procrastinate every day. And I think you need to not compare yourself, however difficult it might be, to all of the productivity people out there, especially watching Ali Abdaal, people like that talk about being as productive as you possibly can. They're all flawed as well. We're all flawed. I procrastinate all the time still. However, I'm working at least 4 hours a day, if I can, every day. And it's not much. I'm still sprinkling bits of focused tasks throughout the day, even if it's not those things I've written down. But it's generally every day trying to make some form of progress in it. Because especially if you've lacked focus, it's just the ability to try and cut the edge into what you're trying to do so that you can gain momentum with it. Because nearly, around 1,000 cold calls in now, around 500 to 700 calls of this year's calls into this stuff. I am finally got momentum with it. I'm finally making progress, finally booked appointments, and progress is finally happening. There's momentum every day now. So the biggest thing is just really You need to. It always comes back to the cliche stuff. I was just watching a video just before I made this actually about Matt Shields and Gutsy, and Matt Shields said that you talk about comparing yourself to others and all that sort of stuff. And what I realized is move my chair and try and stay in focus as well. You really need to just compare yourself to yesterday. It's always the same old cliche quotes you'll hear. It's always the same old corny stuff that you don't think, like you think of it, cool quote, then you leave it be. But it's the way. And when you compare your goals to yesterday's goals, you compare your progress to yesterday's progress. What progress have you made this week and this month, this fortnight? And go from there. And that's what's been helping me. And that is how I'm kind of claiming my time back in a way. So hope that helps. And I just wanted to kind of share my last month of progress with you. Hope you find it helpful. And just remember those few things. And I hope that you can start making progress with your goals as well. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. See ya. And well done if you made it to the end of this video, because I just filmed all of that with the microphone on there. So thanks for watching again.